Okay, happy Monday. I don't know about y'all, but it is raining where I'm at, and I love a good rainy day. Got my blanket. I was just showing Nicole. I am all snuggled up and ready to come at y'all a little bit this morning. So I'm so proud of you for jumping on. I know that there are 10,000 other things that you could do, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that today because it's the moments that you choose to plug in that mean the most. So if y'all don't know me, my name is Bree Coolidge. Alita and I have been running partners for like 8.5 years. We met at Jewel School, and I feel like over the last 8 years, y'all's team have become my team, and vice versa. I love in this company that it truly does not matter where you're at. That you can grow, that you can build, that you can pull from each other, because the way that Plexus has set us up for success in every single area is truly, truly different than any other company. And so I know a lot of y'all know my story. So I'm not going to go through my whole story this morning. I really want to come at you with a couple of tips, but some of what I'm going to talk about, you need to know where I'm from. So I grew up in a super small town. I know that some of y'all can relate. I had 40 people in my graduating class. We had no stoplights, and I didn't even grow up in town. So I was like 15 minutes outside of town. If you wanted to go do something, it was like trains and planes and automobiles away from everybody. And so now I live about 20 minutes from where I grew up. We do have stoplights, but still super small town USA. And so I know that Alita messages me sometimes and she's like, how are you recruiting all of these people? I think I had 13 or 14 last month for new level ones that came in. I've had a goal over the last 10 years at a bare minimum to always have 3 to 6 every single month, because that's where the bulk of your business is going to be, right? 4 pillars. If you're recruiting, retaining, duplicating, and then leadership. If you're not recruiting, you can't get to the other things, right? You've got to be bringing people in, and you've got to be doing it regularly. And I know that there are so many mindset videos out there, and there's so many people talking about all the different things with how to bring people in. And I think that sometimes, drop a 1 in the chat if you ever get in your head about this. It's just like, I don't have enough people. I'm not from a big enough town. I don't know how to reach people. You're not alone in that, but I also want to come at you and tell you that that's BS, right? There are millions and millions and millions of people on social media. And they're even in the town that I live in now. I think 3 of my people last month came from my town. And so I don't really necessarily meet new people from my town every single day. But when I do meet them, I always, always, always get them on social media. And so I thought that at the beginning of this, I know we have about 20 minutes together. I thought that we would talk a little bit about how, like, your mindset and where you have to be at first. And then I'm going to end with a couple of top tips on recruiting and duplicating that you can run with and take away. Sound good? Okay. First thing, you're going to hear all the time. I know that you've had tons of mastermind calls and you've done tons of power hour calls talking about this, but y'all, you have to know why you're here, right? I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but it cannot just be a long-term vision. You have to have something that is a more immediate thing right now that's going to drive you, because you're going to, how many of y'all, drop a 2 in the chat, if you ever open up, you're like, I'm going to message Nicole because she's my dream teamer and I want to do this with her and I love every single thing about her personality. And then you open up the chat and you're like, I'm going to go fold socks, because folding socks seems like it's so much easier than actually messaging the person. So if you don't have an immediate why that's going to drive you, you're always going to go do the other action that seems easier, because you can always think like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to message Alicia later, right? Like you're always going to have that thing that's going to push it off and push it to the future. Because if diamond is a goal for you, but it's 5 years from now or a year from now, even, or 6 months from now, your brain automatically is like, there's no lion chasing me. I'm not going to get eaten right now. I don't have to send the message. And so this month, whatever it is, y'all, if it's the Lululemon gift card, freaking go after the Lululemon gift card. Like, I've got 2 teen girls, they're 13 and 15. You better bet that my goal, I have one of them earned right now. There's no way I'm not earning another one, because I'm not going to be like, hey, Brooke, you get it, and Riley, you don't. Like, there. So that's an immediate why. It can be absolutely something like, maybe you want a house cleaner next month. Maybe you want to buy yourself something for Christmas. Like, whatever it is for you, It's got to be something that your brain can tangibly see. And so if you have not done that yet this month for you, write it down. I think what I see happen over and over and over again in this is people are like, "Oh, I want to go senior gold." And that's great, but if you're a silver ambassador, that's probably not going to happen in the next 10 days of the month, right? And so if your brain does not have an immediate reaction and action that's needed to follow, you're not going to go out and do the hard things. You're always going to revert back to the things in this business that you love. And so for me, it was graphics. I love making graphics. I felt like I was doing all the things. I was never actually doing the things that moved my needle. I was spending time on graphics because that felt fun and easy. But that didn't recruit people because nobody cares about a dang graphic, right? But my brain was like, oh, this feels so good. And my ego, like whatever was somebody was like, oh, that's a beautiful graphic. I'm like, oh no, it feels so good. But it didn't do anything for my business. So you've got to really tap into don't get rid of the long-term goal, right? But you've got to have an immediate goal, or the things that we do at the end of this call and the tips that I give you, it's not really going to mean much. You can listen to every single call, you can listen to every single top tip, but if you don't have something that's going to drive you to do the things, it doesn't really matter. The other thing that I want you to do, you've got to have your why, you've got to have your why not. So there is something right now that's standing in your way that is your why not. Why are you not doing the next action? And for a lot of us, I will speak very openly about this with anybody. You're here because you genuinely care about people, or you wouldn't be in a people business, right? I don't know. Enneagram was really, really big like 6-7 years ago in Plexus. Everybody was talking about it. And so I really dove into it. I'm a 2 on the Enneagram. I love people. I also genuinely get my heart broken when people don't like me. Like it really, really bothers me when people don't like me. And so for a long time, I was just like, oh, like that was a huge why not for me, right? If you get nervous about putting up a post, if you get nervous about sending a message, and there will be some people that are like, who cares? Like it is not that big of a deal. Just go and do it. If your why is big enough and you want to make $1,000 a month, or you want to make $10,000 a month or $30,000 a month, don't care what other people think. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to care what other people think. And then I would put up a post and somebody would be snarky. And I'm like, ooh, but I really do genuinely. Yeah, right, Nicole? Like how many of y'all feel like that? So here's the thing. Stop telling yourself you're not going to care. Okay. Like stop whatever your why not is, really dive into that for a second. Like when you go to put up a post, here's my top tip on this. You go to put up a post, you go to send a message to somebody, sit in that feeling for just a hot second. Like, who is it that you're worried about? What is it that you're worried about? And what's the feeling that you're trying to avoid? Because if the feeling that you're trying to avoid is rejection, okay, nobody wants to be rejected, right? Like that's not a good feeling for any of us. But if your next action is to get up and fold the socks, then you're never actually going to get where you want to be. And I know that that sounds so basic, but I think that a lot of times in this business, we try so hard to just move past the feeling instead of moving through the feeling. And we end up burying it instead of like, okay, well, this is here and this is going to suck. And you know what? 10 years later, I'm still not over that. But I'm so dang glad that I don't let that stop me every single time. Because it's true. At the end of the day, those people aren't paying my bills, right? They're not going to get my daughter into a college that she really wants to get into and let me take her to every ID camp all over the country, right? Like those people aren't doing the things for me. And guaranteed, they're not the ones checking in on me in the hardest moments, but I'm letting them dictate my life. And so that's something that you really have to get honest with yourself. You can have the best why in the world, but if you don't have the why not, you're not going to move through it to move to the why. Does that make sense to everybody? I think that we talk so much in this opportunity about like, have the why that drives you, have the why that makes you cry. And that's great. But a lot of times it's the why not that really makes us cry, right? It's the why not that really keeps us up at night and not allowing us to move through those 4 pillars. And a lot of us are Enneagram 2s, like the people that really genuinely care. And so then when we see like the powerhouses that are just like putting up everything under the sun, it seems like, and we're like, why can't I just be like them? Well, you're not them and you don't need to be them. Like the world doesn't need another them. They need you and your story. But you've got to process through that stuff before you can ever get there. Or you're never going to be the master recruiter and you're never going to be the master duplicator. But there are thousands of people out there that still need your story. Okay. The next thing, you have to start saying no more than you say yes. You have to. And I am the queen of this. I can go through every single example. Alita, for like 5 years now, has been like, quit this, quit this, quit this, because it's the things that are keeping you from doing what you really want to do. But a lot of times we hide under it, right? Because it comes back to filling our ego instead of filling our bank account. Because filling our ego is such a much more immediate thing. And filling our bank account and filling our hopes and our dreams and our goals takes long-term vision, and it takes moving through that why not repeatedly over and over again. And that's not always things that are easy to do. And so for me, it looked like volunteering on every little league board and every booster club board and hosting every single party. Like, I love doing those things. And I'm not saying that you can't do those things, but if you're saying yes to something and then you're coming home and you're like, ugh, I didn't even want to do that. Why did I say yes? You have to start saying no more than you say yes, or you're never going to have the time for your business. And then, same thing again, all of these tips that we're going to go through next can't happen because you're so stressed at the end of the day doing everything for everyone else that you cannot do the things that you have to do for your business. And the reality is, if you're still, how many of y'all, drop a 1 in the chat if you're still working a 9 to 5, or you're a stay-at-home mom, or you have another thing, or dad, that you're doing outside of this. The reality is, like, it's great. We have 24 hours in a day. And I know that there's the whole, like, everybody has 24 hours and it's the same 24 hours. That's kind of BS. I mean, let's be real with ourselves, right? Like, we all have 24 hours. We can all get things done. But like, my 24 hours isn't Oprah Winfrey's 24 hours. She's got like chefs and cleaners and all the things, right? I'm happy for her. She's earned it. But my 24 hours now looks so much different. Like, I'm able to have somebody come in and clean the house so that I can focus on things. If you're not there yet and you're saying yes to every single thing under the sun, you cannot say yes to your business, and you cannot take the time that you need to really hone in on these skills and do the things that you have to do. And I think that this is going to be a process that you have to keep going through, because we preach time freedom in this, right? And so I'm constantly putting up in my stories that I've got time and I can do these things and I can give back. So guess who the first people that they ask are? The one that says sucker across her forehead like me and says yes to everything, because they know. And it's going, when you start setting these boundaries, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. And so that's when it goes back to knowing your why, but also knowing your why not. Because you're going to be faced with some things coming up in the future if you're one of those people that has to set some boundaries, where it's going to feel really uncomfortable when you step away. I've just stepped away from 3 positions in the last like 2 months. And people are like, what's going on with you? Is this like a midlife crisis? I'm like, no, it's just me really wanting more. And I can't do it in a concession stand. Like, it's okay to step away from some of that stuff. I am, right? Alita, I'm a sucker. I'll do anything for anybody. But then what I was doing at the end of the day, and some of y'all, drop a 1 in the comments if you feel like this right now. You go to bed at the end of the night and you're like, well, crap. I woke up this morning. I was going to add 10 people. I was going to help 3 people go silver. I was going to put up a post. I was going to have the best story in the world. And now it's 10 p.m. And like, I failed because I didn't do any of that stuff. But my socks are folded really, really well. Like, not going to do anything for you. Okay. And so you've got to start delegating some stuff, and you've got to sit down with your shareholders if you have not done this yet. My kids are 12, 13, and 15. I had to think about that for a second. They're 12, 13, 15. Some of y'all, I mean, I started this when they were 2, 3, and 5. I'm 10 years into this. When they were 2, 3, and 5, they had chores with me. My husband had to start stepping up. Just because I was home all day did not mean there weren't things that he could do around the house, right? Like you have to have your shareholders doing some things with you. And there are going to be some things in those seasons of time where you're really pushing and getting going and doing the things where stuff falls to the wayside. Like you're going to have a checklist a mile long, but you have to have your Plexus checklist first. Okay. Those things have to happen. So it's not 10 o'clock at night and you feel like you failed and your brain starts this like whole, well, maybe I can't be a diamond. Maybe I can't do this. The reality is that you never gave yourself the option to do it. You never had the option to become a master recruiter, a master duplicator, because you were doing everything else. And your brain just sees it as failure. So you have to start setting yourself up for success, or those things can't ever really happen for you. Okay, here are a couple of recruiting tips. You have to start caring more about your future than your right now. Because you're right now, you're always going to choose the easy way out. So when you go to put up that post, when you go to send that message, you need to have something that you're going to immediately go to. I have a dream board. It sits on my desk always. And in the center of it, it says, what are you focusing on? Because you can either focus on the lack and you can focus on the rejection and you can focus on, well, I've sent them 62 messages and they haven't messaged me back. Send them another one. Like that's what it's going to take to be a recruiter. Now, you can't only focus on the same 10 people. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. But you have to have something that's going to stop and recenter you and make you think about where you really want to be. Because I know what's going to happen for y'all. When you start sending the messages and you start doing the actions and you realize like, hey, I didn't die. I'm still breathing. And at the end of it, it's really okay if they didn't message me back. It gives you the biggest dopamine dump and you're going to want to keep sending the messages. But the more that you go, and I keep saying this, the more that you close out the message and go fold the socks, like your brain also sees that as something that's been a success, right? Because your house is a little bit cleaner. And so your brain really doesn't, like, our brains are really primitive at the basic core of it. Like when you go up to send that message and your heart starts beating really fast, your brain literally does not know if you're getting chased by a lion or you're about to send a message on Messenger. Because that same immediate response is like, oh my God, I'm going to die and I have to avoid dying. You're not going to die sending the message. So send the message. So you have to start caring a little bit more about your future. And remember to go back in there. I think about this all the time. I heard this story when, and maybe y'all have heard it because it was actually somebody that on your team that said this to me. But when I first started this, I was at a Super Saturday event and they told a story about how they had somebody, they had already been in this for years beforehand. And it was a close friend. And the close friend, they finally, Plexus came up after like years of not having it come up. And this diamond in Plexus was like, hey, I just don't understand. Like, why have you never done this with me? Like, you've never asked about it. You've never done anything with me. And the friend's response was, I still get choked up about this. This is how of a 2 and emotional I am. The friend's response was, I didn't think I was good enough for you. You never have asked me. And that, right, Alicia, like that just makes me like my body gets filled. And I think about that so often when I go to message people, like, how dare I have something that has absolutely changed my world? And I am too selfish thinking about how I'm going to feel if they don't message me back. And I've just kept something that could absolutely change our world. Like, where would y'all be if you didn't have this community and you didn't have these products? And if that doesn't drive you every single day to bring more people into this, this might not be the place for you. Really. I mean, like, we have something that will change things for people. And I think about that every single time I send somebody a message, because it's not my message to kill. Okay. It's just not my message to kill. And so, and I was rude to people about this, y'all. Like, if you don't know this part of my story, I was like, don't message me. I will never share. I'm not telling a soul. I don't want anything to do with it. And I would just ghost people. So, like, I guess I think about that too sometimes. People are ghosting me and they're going to be my next diamond. I just know it. So I'm going to keep on messaging. Okay. Next top tip in recruiting: friend everyone. Like, everyone. I have gotten so crazy about this. My oldest daughter is on a varsity soccer team. I have started, Sam has heard the story. I have actually started when she's on the defensive line. So she is up against like the best kickers on the team and strikers. And so I have started stalking this is fun. I've started stalking the girls that she's defending and sending their moms a message if Riley says that they're nice. She's like, we'll come off the field because they like have chances to talk to each other, and not all soccer girls are nice girls. And so I have started sending the moms messages from other schools and areas like, hey, my daughter was on the defensive line. Like, she loved your daughter. I just wanted to thank you for raising an incredible human. The amount of messages that I get back from people now that are following my stories, messaging me about stuff, do not ever say that you don't have somebody to reach out to. Okay. Like, go to the yogurt aisle at the grocery store. Everybody's buying probiotic yogurt because their doctors just put them on an antibiotic. Start talking to them. Like, wherever you are at, you can friend people. There is literally nothing holding you back other than your own mindset, and you're too scared to reach out to people. You see a fun reel, like y'all, you doom scroll. Oh, every single one of us do. Go to the comment section, follow people like, hey, I loved your comment on that reel. Totally relate. And then you just go down through the systems. I know y'all have them. I don't need to go through that, but friend every single person. And then at the end of the day, I actually just did this right before the call. I had somebody that just shared a reel and like commented on one of my reels. And so if I'm not in a space where I can actually write down their name on their list, or I'm like moving too fast, I will screenshot their profile. And then at the end of the day, I go through my screenshots, because that was something that I was hardcore missing. Like, if I was working in my car and pickup line or whatever, I am not good with notes on my phone. I love paper and pencil. And so if that's you, screenshot. Somebody sends you a message, screenshot it. At the end of the day, make it a part of your system that you're going to go in and you're going to check things. The next thing, bold does not equal bossy. Okay. Bold does not equal bossy. I think that sometimes we hear like, oh, be bold in your messages, and we automatically are like, ooh, I don't know what that looks like. It does not look like, hey, join my team for $9.95, or I'm going to come hunt you down. Like, that is not the bold that we need. The bold that we need is stepping up and showing people and casting vision for them. And I know that you talk about this all the time, but going along with this is the next tip. People don't buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion. Okay. How many times are you in your inbox, in your messages or your email, and you get 75 emails that are like, I've got 30% off and I've got 50% off? How many of those emails do you ever click on? Probably none, unless you actually need it. Okay. Stop sending people at 11:59 on the 30th of the month, I've got a 20% off discount. They don't care. They really don't. But that's so often what we do. And that's how we recruit people, right? If you're recruiting people because of a sale, you're missing the point. And I love a good sale. I love free shipping. I love saving money. I was a math teacher. I love numbers. But that is not why people buy. And so you have to get them to buy with emotion. What are they missing out on? And what can you do for them? Because people will only buy from you if you can answer these questions. And you probably heard them before, but is this the person to help me? And are these the products to do it? If you cannot answer those questions for them, they're on to the next person. They genuinely aren't going to care that it's 20% off or $10 off. But if Sam and I were just talking about this morning, if you have somebody that's having a migraine every single day, guess what they can do? They can go to the doctor. They can get prescription medicine, right? Because that's the easier way for them to be in moments. How are you going to make it different for them? That's the entire recruiting process. Is if they know that you can answer that question for them. And it starts with getting them on your social media and really reaching out to them genuinely. right? Like, I'm not going to pick the bully on the soccer team and reach out to them and be like, my daughter loved your daughter tonight. Like, not going to do it because that's not genuine. But if you can reach out to people genuinely and start the conversations, those are the people that I want to do this with. And it is absolutely, absolutely quality over quantity. I'm never going to be somebody to tell you to go send 100 messages and get it done in 5 minutes because that's going to mean nothing. I would all day, every single day, rather send out 15 messages and have it be from my heart and something that I actually personalize to people, right? Hey, I saw your post about migraines. I know that you've got 3 busy kids. I know what that was like. I don't want you missing moments. Tap into the emotion for people. That's why they're going to buy. And then duplicating. I have for years, Alita has listened to me say this. I suck at duplicating. Guess what I did? I sucked at duplicating because I was saying it over and over and over. So in the last 6 weeks, I have changed it. Every single day, I say, I'm the master duplicator. I've created 5 fast start silvers in the last 6 weeks because I'm simply doing the same things for them. And it looks like getting them started with the products. Once they have a win, because not a lot of people want to share right away, even though that's part of our system. Hey, here's the first post. Let's get this up. Who are your top 2 or 3 people? And some people are like, meh, pump the brakes. I'm like, that's fine. Gonna still say it. As soon as they give me a win, hey, my pants fit better today. I'm like, yes, that is what everyone wants. You have just created something that so many people are looking for. I take that, I put it in a post for them. I do the work. Do not expect other people to do the work on this. Okay. I do the work for them. I draft it, I put it into a post, I ask them to put it up and tag me. If they don't want to, I just say, that's fine. If you don't mind, could I put it up and either tag you or I'll leave your name off of it? Because my business runs on referrals and I love helping people. And I know that there are so many people that need what you just have. That's the first thing that I do to get them to either put up a post or to send a message to somebody. Then I'll take that win and I'll just say, hey, I know you work at such and such an office. I know that you're a teacher. I know you work in a bank. I know you're a stay-at-home mom and you do fun groups, whatever that is for them, whatever I know that they do. And I'll give them a suggestion of a couple of people to reach out to. Hey, I noticed that in your last post, you tagged so and so at your last play group. What do you think about that person? It sounds a little stalkerish because it is, but it works. Because people immediately are like, I don't know anybody. I have no one. I'm like, y'all have 17,000 friends on Facebook, or you have 200 friends on Facebook, whatever it is. Like, 3 people. Give them the ideas. You have to, over and over and over again. It has to be spoon feeding. Nobody wants one more thing to do, right? And nobody is going to care about this more than you care about it right now, because you've identified your why, you've identified your why not, and you're willing to move through the process. Okay, that was a lot in 30 minutes. If anybody has, I know you guys usually keep these to 30 minutes. If you have questions, message me or you can drop them. I'm an open book about all of this, but y'all know what stops you, and then you can go after the things that drive you. But you've got to sit in that emotion for a hot second and really dive into it, because otherwise, nobody telling you to go do the things is going to make you go do the things, because you have something inside of you that's stopping you before you go and do it. So sit through that and then go through it at the end. All right. I love y'all. Happy Monday.